Do you know that one person, the one who drains you, triggers you, and makes everything so much harder than it needs to be? This episode is not about how to fix them. It's about how to stay grounded, calm, and true to yourself when somebody else's behavior makes you want to explode. My name is Dilan, I'm a psychologist and a coach, and in this video I will show you how to deal with difficult people in a way that still protects your peace without losing your power. Most people will switch off after I say this because they do not want to hear this, but difficult people do not create your emotional chaos. They just activate what's already unprocessed. And once you understand that, you will stop reacting and start responding. Let me show you how. Let's start by talking about why certain people trigger you. And I want to go to the root, not just the reaction. So, being triggered by someone isn't just random. It's mostly patterned. What does that mean? Their behavior pokes at your old wounds, and that could be not being seen, not being heard, being dismissed, being manipulated, being controlled, whatever it is for you. Our nervous system reacts by being triggered when old wounds resurface. So no, it's not about the current conversation and the situation you're in right now in the second. It's about something in that person's behavior or speech or whatever that triggers your nervous system to resurface these old patterns. Think about the way you used to be dismissed in your past, and that's what's actually happening here. Think of it like this. When someone's energy is too intense or too unpredictable or a little too familiar but not in a good way, your system immediately interprets this as a threat. You might start to feel small, anxious, uncomfortable, or even explosive or frozen. Everybody has a different reaction to it. And all of these things, all of our reactions are just part of our survival. So they're survival responses and not personality flaws. So the formula here is the bigger your reaction, for example, if you want to explode, if you just want to the bigger the reaction, the deeper the root and the deeper the pattern. You know what I mean? So when somebody triggers you all of the time and your reaction, your emotional reaction to it is super intense, you know that they poke something in you that has been unprocessed for a while. So this is the first time I'm saying this, and I'm probably going to say this again. This is not about them. It's about what's unresolved in you. Okay. What makes someone difficult? Let's make it clear without any judgment. A difficult person isn't necessarily toxic or a bad person, but rather they are dysregulated, and often in a way that feels personal to you. So this could show as passive-aggressive comments or constant negativity, stonewalling or cold withdrawal, which we see mostly in men. For example, if you're in a relationship and you feel like in an argument your husband or partner or boyfriend, whatever, is stonewalling, so he's withdrawing himself from the conversation. You see it also in the body language when they go, you can't see it, when they go like this with their arms in front of their chest and like protecting themselves and literally thinking about anything else but what's happening in that moment with you. So stonewalling is a very common self-protection mechanism in men. This could make someone difficult. And then we have something we often see in moms, unfortunately, which is controlling behavior or guilt tripping or emotional blackmail and all of these things. All of these things can make somebody difficult. I wanted to give you this list because I want you to have words for it, because speech is so important. Instead of trying to tell people they're difficult or bad or something toxic, I don't like that word toxic, try to really figure out what makes them difficult. Is it their controlling behavior? Is it that they're withdrawing and not in the situation with you? Like, what is it exactly of the things I just mentioned or other things that makes you feel like this person is difficult? That's important. And all of these behaviors, amongst different other behaviors that make people seem difficult, they're mostly also protective mechanisms for that person. Maybe these are the ways that they've learned to get needs met or avoid any type of vulnerability or whatever it is. I don't know, I cannot analyze everyone, but you get what I mean. So people learn these behaviors mostly from their parents by watching them do it themselves, or I don't know, not being taught otherwise. And these are mostly protective, which does not excuse their behavior. It does not excuse them treating us badly, no, but it helps you not internalize it, not make it your problem, but rather trying to separate, this is their behavior. I understand why they're doing this, but I'm going to focus on myself. So once you understand their behavior is not about you, it's about them, it's so much easier to stop absorbing it. Quick interruption, I just want to tell you about something I am really excited about. It's called Wake Up Week, my live 5-day coaching experience to help you stop overthinking and finally build the habits that get you where you want to go. So if you've been stuck in the same cycle, but you're ready to do something about it, this one is for you. You'll get daily exercises, real coaching from me, and a recording of each session. You can join the waitlist now with the link down in the description. I can't wait to see you inside. Now, let's jump right back into the episode. Let's talk about what not to do in these situations. Because there are some traps out there that we fall into automatically that keeps us stuck in these patterns. So let's break this. Don't try to argue with someone in an emotional, triggered state. Logic doesn't hold when you're high on emotions. Let me explain to you why. Your brain has different areas, right? I mean, you probably know this. I learned this in school. Your brain has different areas. Let me show you. The area right here behind your frontal lobe, which is called the prefrontal cortex. This is the area in your brain that is helping you be logical. That is helping you solve the crossword puzzle or any type of puzzle. That is our logical center, helping us make clear decisions and making us just literally rational, logical, whatever you want to call it. This is it. Now in the center of the brain, we have the amygdala. It's a small thing which is responsible for all of our emotions, basically. People call it like the center for our fear or other negative emotions, because once danger happens to us, we see very much activation in the amygdala. I don't want to get too deep into this. You can read it all on Google or ask ChatGPT about this, but it's super interesting because once the amygdala is activated, the prefrontal cortex, the one that is responsible for making logical decisions and being logical in general, it shuts down. It's like, nope, I'm out of here. This is too hot for me here. Like, so much going on. I will just like take a nap until you figured it out. And that's literally what happens. The prefrontal cortex shuts down when the amygdala is active. So our emotional system, the amygdala, goes crazy, screaming, oh my God, SOS, danger, we are in danger, even if the threat is not real. For example, in this situation with a difficult person, you maybe hear something they said or the way they act around you triggers something in you, resurfaces old wounds, and that's dangerous to us. So our amygdala goes crazy, goes into alarm mode, and doesn't shut off until the danger is gone. So that's like super intense for your brain. And then the prefrontal cortex is like, nope, gonna take a nap until this is done. So why shouldn't you argue in a situation like this when your emotions run high? Because you cannot argue logically if this thing here is shut down. It's turned off. There's no way you will find logical arguments, logical things to say in that situation. Because once we feel intense emotions, we first have to deal with these emotions until the prefrontal cortex slowly wakes up from its nap and comes back to help us. So there's some things you can do here. And like I said, I don't want to go too deep into this. You just have to trust me on this. Do not argue when you're in an emotional state. And the same goes for the other person. So when the other person is in a high emotional state and you see them raging, there's no way you can have a conversation with them. They are not capable of having a normal conversation with you. So just don't do it. Wait until the emotions are regulated. And if it's you that's in the emotional state, you can do multiple things. You could breathe into your stomach, like deep breaths. You could take a walk. You could actually solve a puzzle, like do Sudoku or a crossword puzzle, because anything that will activate this one here again helps us to deactivate the amygdala a little bit, to regulate it. So I hope you understand that these two, the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, are like, they're not good with each other. So we need to keep them balanced. Don't try to argue with someone in that state. Another trap is people try to explain themselves. They try to justify themselves. And they're stuck in this loop of just needing to explain themselves to be accepted or something. That's a trap. That's not going to work. That's not going to free you from this loop. Another thing, oh my God, do not match their energy in that situation. If somebody's being difficult to you, do not match their energy. I don't know why people think it's smart to mirror that and be difficult back. Like, why do you think that works? That doesn't work. That's just stupid. Don't do that. This will only escalate the chaos. It's going to get worse. And then sometimes people think what helps is when they regain control over the situation. So when they try to be the one with the more control, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't try to win the conversation or the situation, because this is not a competition you need to win. Honestly, just put your pride aside in that moment. You do not need the win here. You need more clarity, not control. So what should you do instead if you're not supposed to do all of these things? I hope I didn't call somebody out here. I probably did, because most people think these things work, but they don't. So here's what actually works. And I called this the S.A.N.E method. S stands for step back. You need to detach yourself. So if you're in a situation where you feel triggered by the person, detach yourself emotionally, mentally, physically. Try to literally take a step back. Because like I said, in that moment, when you are triggered, your brain has different priorities, like the amygdala going strong and being like, danger, danger, oh my God, this is so dangerous for us, we need to eliminate the threat. But actually what you need to do is to take a step back, let your prefrontal cortex wake up from its nap and do its job again. How do you do that? Breathe. 3 long exhales. Drop your jaw, drop your shoulders, relax. You can also try to use an internal phrase like, this is information. This is not an emergency. This is not SOS. We are gonna be fine. Whatever you need to tell yourself. For me, the phrase I always use when I'm triggered or when I feel like I'm in danger is, it's okay. That's literally all I tell myself. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay, Dilan. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. It's okay. So that's what I'm doing to relax my brain. And you need to understand that stepping back is not giving up. It's the most powerful thing you can do, because you take leadership over your nervous system. You regain control in your brain so you can move along way more clear and logical and grounded, which is what we want. The A in S.A.N.E stands for acknowledge the pattern. See it for what it is so you can rise above it. Why? Naming the pattern will help you rise above the situation, because instead of trying to react to the people who are difficult to you, you are responding to the pattern inside of you. So you need to be observant here. You need to look for, is this like a guilt loop? Is this a controlling loop? In what type of loop do we have here at hand? For example, if you have a conversation with your partner and maybe he's toxic or something, or you feel like he's toxic. I see this a lot in my clients, unfortunately, that they get together with people who are difficult, who are toxic, so who are maybe manipulating them emotionally, or who are guilt tripping them, who are gaslighting them. So what you want to do here, after you take a step back, you want to acknowledge the pattern by looking for the type of loop you're in. What is he doing, or her, whatever? Is it a guilt loop? Is it a gaslighting loop? Is it a controlling loop? What is it? And if you know that person, you can even start to see the patterns in them. For example, do they always use criticism? Do they always use manipulation? Or do they use withdrawal? What types of behaviors do they constantly use in order to get what they want? You have to be observant here. And then for your brain, you can tell your brain, this is familiar. We have been here before. I know what's happening. This is not an emergency. I know what's happening. I see the pattern clearly. You know what I mean? So you gotta work with your brain. You gotta see it for what it is so you can rise above it. So now we've taken a step back. We've acknowledged the pattern. And the next step is to notice what is yours. Do not carry what is not yours to fix. You gotta focus on yourself. You gotta stick with you, with your voice, with your things, and leave everything else out of it. In high conflict dynamics, for example, even worse when we know the person, when it's our partnership, when it's our parents, when it's somebody close to us, we try, I don't know why we do this, but we try to absorb everything, their energy, their feelings, their needs that didn't get met. So we try to be, I don't know why, but we try to be the good person and absorb everything in the room, which is super unhealthy for us, which is why this step is so crucial. So ask yourself, and here you're riding the high horse by doing this. Ask yourself, which part of this is actually about me and what part is about them? Ask yourself, am I trying to fix this so I don't feel the discomfort? Is that the reason? Because I do not want to be uncomfortable? And then lastly, ask yourself, am I reacting to them or are they bringing up something in me? So here you make the clear separation between I am reacting to them the way they are being, or what they're doing right now brings up some old patterns in me. Remember, not every emotion in the room is yours. Try to separate your emotion from their emotion. This is the healthiest way to get out of there. And for the next part of the S.A.N.E method, or for the last part, we have the E, which is either exit or engage calmly, whatever you want to do. So this is the first action we're going to take here. We're either going to exit or we're going to engage calmly. But before you can do this E part of the S.A.N.E method, please, you have to take a step back. You have to you have to acknowledge the pattern, and then you have to notice what's yours. And then when you do these things right, you will be grounded before taking action. That's super important, that you are grounded, that you are calm. So now we can think about what to do. And here's the two options. Option 1 is to exit. And the decision is with you. You can decide if you want to exit, if that's just something you're just stuck in a loop, you don't see any hope for change, or that you can get out of there calmly, that the conversation can take a different turn. If you decide that you want to exit, that's totally fine. Here's some ways you can say it. Maybe go like, let's just pause for a second. I feel like I need a break. Or I'm not in the right headspace for this right now. Or if you don't want to make it like an I statement, you could go like, this isn't going anywhere helpful. Let's take a step back. You see what I'm doing there? I'm trying to do it calmly, because adding gasoline to the fire, believe me, it's not going to help. And then what you can do is you can literally step away calmly, like just take a few steps back, but don't do it like too drastically, because sometimes people, like the other person gets triggered by that, because they're like, why is she fleeing? And then they grab you even stronger. So you got to be like, take a step back, take another step back, do it calmly, like move your body. It's important to let your exit model regulation and not retaliation. Or the other option is to engage calmly when you feel regulated or grounded enough that you want to engage. This is how you can do it. You could go like, here's what I'm available for, and then continue the sentence. Like, just be like, this is what I can do right now. Make it about yourself. Or if the person's important to you, you could be like, let's slow down. I actually want to hear what you're saying. Like, let's take a step back. I really want to, I want this to work. Please let me hear what you're saying. Or maybe something like, we're getting off track. Let's get back to the point. It doesn't really matter which words you choose here, because tone is the most important thing. The way you say it is more important than what you say. Remember, stay grounded, stay calm, be direct, and don't perform. Be authentic. Be the way you are. So I'm suggesting to you a few phrases you can use, but in the end, you have to choose your own phrases. And I recommend to you, think of 1 or 2 phrases which you're always using, because then it just gets more natural and you will stay authentic when saying them. You don't have to say so you don't have to say anything. But if you want to say something, you don't have to say the perfect thing. You just have to say it from your center, so it's really you. You have to mean it. And hopefully this is clear, but now just the last thing I want to say is, when you start doing this, instead of not dealing with difficult people at all, fleeing from them, giving them all the power, I want you to be able to deal with these situations, with these people, and stay in your power. Because why should you let someone else strip away your power like this? You don't want to be manipulated. You don't want to be controlled. You want to be in full control over what's happening to you. And the thing is, you can decide. You can decide what you let happen to you and what not. So the next time somebody difficult enters your life or re-enters your life and just brings you in these horrible loops, making everything harder than it needs to be, please think of this method. Take a step back, acknowledge the pattern, super important, notice what is yours and what isn't, and then exit or engage calmly. Super easy. I do it all the time, and this is why people keep asking me how I am so confident, or how I deal with like difficult people when like we have friends and they ask me. I could never do that. They know the person as well, but for me, also, it just entered my mind. People think that I act like that it's acting, that it's not my true self, because why should I voluntarily deal with a difficult person instead of just like not doing it? So they think I am acting, or that I'm actually giving away power by dealing with them, which is so stupid to me, because by dealing with someone and acknowledging that maybe they are in pain too. They behave like this because they are in pain, or they don't know how to regulate themselves. I feel sorry for them. So why should I just walk away? No, it's giving me more power staying in this situation and dealing with it my way, which is this way. So please remember this. Try it out. Be careful, because difficult people can really do something to us. So please be careful. And remember this, you cannot control difficult people. You can only control how you react to them. And the goal isn't to stay unaffected at all times. The goal is to be self-led, no matter the situation, no matter if it's easy or hard, that you are able to lead yourself with power. And with that, I want to thank you so much for watching this far. If you've reached the end of this video, I wish you all the best dealing with all the difficult people in the world. I know we have plenty, so best of luck, and ask me anything if you have any questions left. I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye.